interesting and informative ground to cover today. But let's kick it off as we always do every week with Tell Me Something Good. So share something good that happened in your professional life. Don't need to hear if your kid won a soccer game, right? But who has a new lead, a new closing?
I broke a record last month closing for
You're welcome to participate too online. All right, let's try and get three. We got one.
Rose joined my team.
Yay!
All right, I got one. Okay, I'm gonna do Stop Crying though. So going over my numbers once I got back from Dallas, I realized one, I already achieved my volume goal this year. Two, I achieved the highest GCI I've ever received in my entire career. While since April, I don't work weekends.
Boom. That's a
I never, and to check myself, I even asked my husband, I'm like, hey, look what I made. He almost crapped his pants. And then I was like, but do you feel like I'm home on the weekends a lot? He goes, you like never work on the weekends. I was like, because that's how you really know, right? You ask the spouse, okay, is this really true in my head or is it? But
that's a Tell Me Something Great right there.
Right?
Yeah.
I work for her on the weekends.
Oh, there you go.
yeah, no, thanks to Zach and Stephanie and Melissa. Surround yourself with people that can take over.
It takes a tribe.
It
Takes a
does.
tribe.
So
All right.
I have a question for Jennifer. How much did you make? What was it?
Not as much as Cindy and Darcy, probably about 300,000.
And that's
With-
hold on, that's since January.
The year.
Okay.
I'm still going. I set new goals. So I did 14 million in volume or 14.5 million in volume as of yesterday. So
Wow.
So turn the screen back so I can see everybody, Johnny. So this, I'm looking at all of you right now. I hope if you're like me, you're sitting there and you're looking at Jen and go, she's sweet, she's cute, she's adorable, but I'm going to freaking bury her. I don't know if there's any competitive people out there, but I'm like, if Jen Sanvos can do it and do that, I can do it, you know? So I don't know if you have that personality, but let that sort of thing motivate you. And I say that as a compliment to you, Jen. Everybody opens their mouth and runs their mouth, but your action speaks so loud. I can totally hear what you're saying. So congratulations you to Jen and everybody else. I love you, but let her inspire you because you could say, well, you know, of course Brent could do it. Of course, Cindy Silva could do it. Of course, Darcy. But I hope there's somebody in this room, like probably the sweetest, nicest person in the room. And no offense to the rest of you, I just insulted. But it was
he's not talking about me.
I mean, I'm on a roll. I'm just going to keep going. Valerie, where's Valerie Jennings? Is that Valerie?
There
Right?
you go.
Raise your hand high if people don't know Valerie. I mean, I'm gonna actually say it. She is the sweetest, nicest person in the room. She's amazing.
Very true.
I think she's outsold everybody in the entire room. Just
Oh,
so
very
you
true.
know. Just so you know. And so you're like, oh, okay. So there's all personality types. There's the gregarious people like Brent and Jen, and then there's the quiet, sweet, nice, I'm having a baby, you know, amazing human beings, Valerie. And so Jennings, and John's very proud of her. So Valerie, congratulations, because I believe I looked at your numbers. I think you are the highest income earner in the room. And you know, I always was like, I'm loud about it. You're quiet about it. But I hope maybe Valerie inspires you. But I don't know what it's going to take for you to get inspired, but I hope you're competitive. And because I think that's a healthy thing to be competitive. Like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. And right now I'm kind of hearing about a lot of women. I don't know. It's like Cindy Silva, Darcy Stratton, Valerie Jennings, Jen. So maybe some of the dudes in the room need to step up. And now I'm making it. I'm out in the cow pasture stepping in cow patties today, boys and girls. But I'm challenging the men in the room to step up and do some great things. Like, because right now I'm kind of seeing total world dominance by the women. And so, you know, so let that stuff motivate you. You can make excuses or you can make real estate commissions, and you know, right, make excuses or make dust. So anyways, John, back to you. I'll be quiet and I'm going to mute my mic.
Oh, that's good stuff. It's your meeting, my friend. All right, so lender update really quick, 30 seconds or less. Rodney, I think you're the resident lender in the room. What's happening in the wonderful world of mortgage?
Market's great. Rates been dropping this week. Big news financial every day this week so far. Tomorrow's gonna be the conclusion for the week. And, you know, in my view, I mean, push everybody to close today, right? But in December, I think it'll be a big break point, and we'll see either rates, that will be rates are on sale right now, ending maybe in December, and then the client's gonna start going up, or if things don't go well, we might see rates will begin with a 1. Not for December, right? So don't tell that to your clients.
You just said it recording, but don't tell it to your client.
No.
Clients on there?
No.
But I think that, you know, there are tons of programs out there, right? We're in this little bit of there's a little bit of, you know, hesitation in the market right now. It's still strong. We went from 20% appreciation down to 9% appreciation. That's still appreciation. It's still going great. Take advantage of that market, and structure your deals with financing to make it go in. Probably the best way I'd say. Plenty of financing, plenty of programs. You know, rates are great. You know, everything else is going up, right? Prices are going up, rates are going up. Close the deals.
Absolutely. Better now than
Real
the
quick,
next year.
To add to that, Bonnie, did you hear about what Fannie Mae had talked about with no longer doing the opt-outs for appraisals?
No, I did not hear that.
Okay, so I got called by one of my buddies, and Brent wanted me to talk to you guys about this week. Is that one of my buddies who's a lender, so Fannie Mae, in his office, I guess Fannie Mae came out and said that anyone that's in any houses that are in Placer County, El Dorado County, Yolo, Yuba, essentially anywhere that the fires are happening. Right? There has been a thing called a appraisal waiver, right? So if you have good enough credit, putting 20% down in a good area, they will actually waive your appraisal. Okay, it gives you the ability to come in without an appraisal contingency. Okay, that is no longer happening right now with the fires. And it's actually putting a bunch of strain on the lenders. Because they're the ones that have to go out and take pictures of the ones that are in contract right now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so even if your deal's already been approved for appraisal waiver, it's done, or even appraisal is done, you might double check with whoever's funding the deal to make sure that they're on board with that, because I have been in transactions where everything was green lighted, right? But because it's in that zone, a hazard zone, somebody has to go and physically see that the property still exists.
I've had a miss right now.
Yeah.
I've had there's a BPO company that I work for, and sometimes you're doing a BPO and sometimes you're doing, you know, whatever else. And so right now they declared all of Placer County a danger zone or whatever. And I had an insane, like probably at least 100 requests in just the last week. And all you do is you drive by, take a picture. That's all they want. It's not the BPO. They're just trying to make sure the house burnt down. And it's in places like Loomis, Granite Bay, where there's no fire, but they're not logical enough to look at a map. They'd rather pay someone.
It's like the same county.
Oh, I'm sorry, a broker price opinion. So that's,
I want to explain it.
go for it, Drew.
That's what Jan, so especially for newer agents, okay?
I don't really do that much.
Well, yeah, so newer agents, it's a great way to just get your skills down on assessing values of homes. Okay, you go out and reach out to local BPO companies that will pay you per BPO that you do. And essentially what you're doing is a broker price opinion. Okay, so what you're doing, you're comping the properties, right? It's usually very, very prevalent in private money, hard money, things like that.
Refinance sometimes.
Refinances, where you're going and giving your professional opinion. Okay, especially for newer agents, it tends to be for seasoned agents that are busy. The money's just not really there. But if you guys are in the beginning and you're needing to get some, confidence under you when it comes to comping, it's a great opportunity. And you can make some extra.
Let me add one more thing. So just so you're aware, it's gonna take you a minimum, and I know how to comp a property, stupid paperwork, you have to fill all this stuff out. It's gonna take you about 3 hours. You do have to drive by the property. You have to take multiple pictures and pay attention to where you're doing. If you're going to a property like the Pines or Catavadera or what's the one in Granite Bay, Los Lagos? You need to be prepared to lie your little pants off and call another realtor and be like, hey, can I show the house? Because they expect you to get past that gate with the little guard that doesn't want to let you past, even though you're a realtor. So you have to do all these things. You take pictures. So it's like 45, 50 bucks maybe for 3 hours worth of work. So keep that in your mind. However, I do agree with what Drew said. If you're newer, especially if the market shifts, if there's more real estate owned properties, so bank owned properties, repos that come to market, those BPO companies, and the more BPOs you do and have under your record, even if you are new, you're going to be the realtor that they start giving those deals to with those companies. So you start making, and you can literally go Google BPO company and things like that. I'm only with one, and most of the time I did a few just because I was like, oh, just want to try it out, but most of the time I don't bother. But it is really, really, really good practice. Like really good practice. A great way to make some extra like gas money or something.
On the job training. So moving off the lender update, there's 2 events coming up that happen regularly. One is the Made for More Mixer. It's happening tonight at Crawdads 5 to 8. Yeah, so if you haven't gone, you gotta go. If you've been, you know it's a good time. It's Crawdads. How can you go wrong at Crawdads? We have about 300 people signed up so far, so it should be fun. Should be full, many people, other real estate agents to network with, maybe recruit to EXP, other lenders, other industry professionals to network with, and maybe meet some new clients. So that's tonight, 5 to 8 Crawdads. And then Barry, you do a lunch and learn every week, right?
Yeah, every week on Wednesdays. We do it right here, Wednesday at noon. And so you can bring people in, learn the model. We do different variations of the model. I just created a new slide deck, kind of augmented the one, brought in some slides from Dallas that we use there. And then we've got new videos that are like Brent's Lunch and Learn that are coming out from different people across the country that we'll be plugging in. And so it should be a little bit different, not always the same thing.
Wednesday at noon.
I picked up a date for my daughter at the last Make for More Mixer. No joke. They went on a date. It was great.
Made for More dates.
I did.
Yeah.
What?
That's all good. It's all good. It's not what it's intended for, but hey, it's an added benefit.
I'm really creative, okay?
Yeah, working all the angles. So we have 2 very special guests today, and I want to make sure we have enough time to get to all of them. We're going to kick it off with Melissa and Eric. They are profit strategists for real estate agents. So give them a big round of applause. So come on up here.
Right.
Here, if you both stand there, I can get you in the film for.
I'm gonna get that light down.
All right.
So what strategists for realtors mean? It's pretty simple. We help our clients by coaching them to make more money, and we help our clients by coaching them to keep more of the money that they've made. So our big audacious proposal is that we guarantee 20% growth for any of the clients that we work with on the accounting side. And then on the tax side, which is what he represents, we won't even touch a client if we can't show them at least 30% in tax savings. So that's 30% less than what you've paid last year, if not more. And in most cases, we've been averaging, I would say this year, between 40 and 60%. So that's what we do. We do it in a variety of ways. I know I only have 5 minutes. That's one hand. But that's what we do. Our office is downtown. We're a real office. We're a brick and mortar building. We have staff. This is my husband.
Well,
We work together all day, and then we go home together at night and raise a
I go to
kids.
football practice.
He does not. For our son. Not you. So what do you want to tell? Oh wait, sorry. And there's a fishbowl that Johnny's gonna pass around that we're gonna do 2 gift cards. One is a Starbucks gift card and the other one is to PF Chang's, because sadly they took away the PF Chang's that was in Sacramento, but you guys still have them here. So drop your cards in.
Well, then I'll take that as a moment to talk. So I do tax strategies. My goal is to develop defensive and offensive strategies for you to save on your tax liability. On average, I help my clients at about the $32,000 mark in tax liability reduction. What does that mean for you? Well, it all depends upon your tax bracket. Those of you that are single, that make $200K, you're looking at about 24% going to the feds, you're looking at 9.3% going to the state of California, and depending upon how you got paid by your company, you're looking at 15.3% in self-employment taxes. How do we get rid of all of that? Through a variety of strategies. It's best to invest a little bit of money on the front end to save you tens of thousands of dollars when it comes time to filing your taxes. If you spend $100, I'm going to help you learn how to recapture up to 100% of that, right? So you take a client out to dinner, something of that nature, you go spend money somewhere. We're going to work with you and try to figure out how to take that $100 that you went and spent and turn that into a tax liability reduction versus I went out and I spent $200 and I had a great time.
Are you ever gonna tell people to spend more money? Is that one of the tactics? Just my question.
So offensive strategies,
Yeah.
I dislike them like immensely. I really dislike those that work in the tax industry that say, oh, just go buy a new car, go invest in some office equipment, things of that nature. That's terrible. What if you didn't need it? You could use that operating capital to reinvest in yourself and reinvest in your business, to increase your advertising budget. By all means, do all of that. Right? I will never tell you to go buy a car because I think you want to take advantage of the bonus depreciation value in 1 year. I mean, not unless you brought in about 800K, then I might actually make that recommendation. But if I first will dive into every defensive strategy I can, turning you into your own company, right? Making your own, you get registered with the state of California. Hey, let's take a look at those options. Let's make you an S corp. What does that look like? Depending upon how you're getting paid from your employer or your group that you're with, each strategy is going to be just a little bit different. So,
Do you feel you're more responsive than other tax professionals out there that we're running into?
you call your tax professional, you call them around, or actually they start sending you letters sometime in the beginning of January saying, hey, get your stuff together. Here's your engagement contract, sign off on that, make a deposit, and here's a link to download your stuff. And then you download your stuff and then they reach out to you saying, hey, it's here, ready for you to review. And you're like, well, I didn't really talk to anybody. This is really simple. It's kind of cool. Yes and no. I have conversations with my clients. It's a cooperative effort. You give me information, I review it. If I see information that's missing, I reach out to you. I say, hey, did you think about this? You got a home office? Do you pay for a security system? Oh, let's get that
The
included, right?
handsome gentleman in the back seems to have a question for you. Or maybe not.
Which handsome gentleman?
When I was talking to you in the blue shirt.
But it's okay, we'll get her some glasses. It's fine.
Quick question. I was just kind of
Which department?
Barry, can you stand up? Can you stand up, Barry?
Yeah.
Yes, Dan.
Yeah.
Barry, you said stand up.
What's your question, Barry?
So anyway, the question is, are you an enrolled agent, a CPA? Do you file the taxes?
So right now I am a certified tax preparer in the state of California. I can file taxes in all the states. I am in process of becoming an enrolled agent. That way I can maintain my functionality throughout the United States and not shoehorn myself into only being a CPA in the state of California. The tax strategist stuff that goes along with the CTEC is that I can not only advise you on your taxes, but I can also file taxes in any state in the United States.
I didn't get that. Are you a CPA or
No, not a CPA, en route to being an enrolled agent. I recently retired in 2019 from the nursing industry and made a transition over. Taxes has always been a hobby of mine. You know, how people talk about certain hobbies. Mine has always been numbers, and I see doing taxes as a way to min-max numbers for real life money. So that's always been a passion of mine for some odd 20 years.
Think about the money. What is the fees? How do you bill for the holiday? It's a flat fee.
So if I develop a tax strategy for you, it's going to be a minimum of 3 to 6 on the ROI. You give me $1, I'm going to show you how to get 6 back, 3 to $6 back. So each one of them has to be tailored planned to you because the IRS doesn't let us sell this kind of stuff in a nice boxed package. All right, they want us to work with everyone individually, so we have to do things on an individual basis.
So what do you charge for that?
Anywhere from 3,000 to 15,000. So it really kind of varies. If I come to you and I say, okay, well, look, you've got a website. There's a potential of getting federal credits there. You need to do an S corp. You need to start paying yourself a fair market wage. We start going into those strategies, maintaining your corporate compliance and developing. And as we go through and move away from you paying self-employment taxes, highest tax bracket for your income level, then we start seeing that there's, a shift of $60,000, $75,000 worth of tax liability that just went away. Taxes are always paid on a percentage basis. So 24% of 70,000, that's a good chunk of change. So each plan has to be tailored to the individual.
I think Brent has a question.
But I just want to add one more thing. I think not just that, I love the waving, not just the biggest thing, but one of the differences also between us and other firms is that we do specialize in working with realtors and mortgage. That's kind of our niche. So we understand your industry. We understand what's different about your industry. We understand how the money flows for you guys and how that kind of creates its own challenges. There's nothing that here I will suggest, and we operate on two completely separate areas of the house, if you want to call that. There's nothing that we will suggest that we won't guide you to do and then hold you accountable for doing. So unlike your traditional CPA that says, at the end of the year, okay, they do your taxes, they say, okay, we'll do this, and this, and I'll see you next year. And then next year happens and they say, well, did you do this, and this? And it becomes your fault.
Yep.
We're your partner in that process. So
Either through the process of doing
Sorry.
several sessions.
the big important guy on the camera.
Brent, what's your question?
Has a question.
So I just want to understand this. So let's say, I heard you say 3 to 30 or whatever. So let's say, okay, you're saving me $50,000 in taxes I wasn't realizing. Then that's what determines your fee. It's a percentage of what you're saving me. Is that what I heard you just say?
Correct. So if I can generate for you a tax liability reduction in the neighborhood of $50,000, that actually, depending upon your tax bracket, could be anywhere from 24 to 39% on the federal side and 9.3% in the state of California base. So 50,000, let's just stay in the federal realm. 50,000 at 24% is $12,000 off your tax bill. If I can save you that and you paid me $4,000, is that worth it to you?
And then if it's $100,000, then the fee would double. It sounds like to
It does
6,000.
increase. The more moving parts that there are, the more that we're working with, the more involved that I need to be in the process. Of course, it's going to generate a greater rate of return for me, right?
Yeah.
You guys go and sell a house, you get it set at $250,000, but then you start getting offers at 3.25. Well, you don't let that extra $75,000 in potential commissions sit on the table. No.
Right.
Advantage of it.
So
Right. You're still working with the same products, but it takes more involvement, more
Right.
depth.
So I'm
And you get to call me more often.
right. I'm Papa Bear. This is my team meeting. And so it sounds great. Like everything you're saying. But I do want to say to everybody in the room, they look like a beautiful couple. Trust, but verify. I don't have a problem with what you're saying, but I will say this, a word of warning to everyone in the room. Make sure you review. I don't know you, no disrespect. Review the work by a CPA. The last gentleman I used like this, and it was 35 years ago, went to prison. So he was, and this again is you may be legit. I think he started off legit, but he was so inspired to get higher and higher returns. And so he started pushing the envelope beyond the gray into the red. He literally went to prison for fraudulent tax returns, and the rest of us who used him, it all sounded great. We were paying nothing in taxes. And I'm not saying that's you, so do not be insulted. I am not trying to insult you. What I am trying to do is Papa Bear, this team meeting is serving this room. If you utilize these services, just have everything that he's showing you reviewed by a licensed CPA, and to make sure that it's all straight up, because none of us did it. He went to prison. We had to pay back taxes with penalties, interest, and it really caused a lot of pain for a lot of people. So I'm just going to say that. Again, this is no reflection on you. It's just an experience I had 35 years ago and said never again. And so that is it. And you sound like a straight up right on couple. So again, please don't be insulted at what I just said. This is just to everybody in the room. Consumer beware. He sounds great. I'm sure it's great. Trust, but verify. That's all I want to say. That's it.
Awesome.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So just so we're clear, this is who Valor and I use to do our taxes, and how we actually got started was Melissa's accounting services. Like, how many of you generate a monthly P&L? Raise your hand if you generate a monthly P&L for your business. All right, every hand should be raised. Right, every hand should be raised. Melissa helps you do that.
So Melissa, you do bookkeeping, you does tax,
Yep.
is that right?
Yeah.
And then every night we get in our hot tub and we talk about all of our clients together.
Yeah.
I want to put right in.
So anyways,
She's married.
I know.
It's okay, just trying to die.
Oh, I agree. She's got great skin.
So,
No, I totally agree with what he says. Verify at the end. He's absolutely right. When you sign your name on that return that's been prepared, your butt's the one that's on the line. You know, we all have, any preparer, any professional has levels of you know, insurance that protects us, but it doesn't always necessarily protect you guys. So absolutely verify. I mean, I can tell you all day long, we're totally legitimate. We're good people. We're not verify, and each of us are willing to have a, you know, a consultation with you to talk you through what we can do and what we believe in. So
awesome.
thank you.
Well, thank you so much. All right, next we have EXP Royalty in the house. It is Ryan Rosas. Ryan is a local broker here for EXP, and he lives locally. He's in Rockland.
I live
So,
like 2 minutes.
so you don't need to go to the world. You can just bang on his actual house.
Please don't do that. Hi, everyone. I'm one of your California managing brokers. There are 7 of us now, and we're hiring 2 more.
Boom.
We just passed about an hour ago, 8,000 California. Congratulations to everyone in this room that's helped make that accomplishment something that we can reach. We're looking for 10,000 agents, hopefully by the end of the year. That's our goal. So, but with that, there's pluses and minuses. So we are not a franchise company like some of the other big companies that are out there, right? So we are the largest brokerage by agent count, if you think of us as a whole, right, as opposed to a breakdown. Because of that, we get a little bit of a target on our back with the DRE. So I'm here today to just kind of share some tidbits with you guys, answer some questions around some of the stuff that you've seen us as a broker team implementing recently. Part of why you see some of the new stuff now is that we're in the process of a DRE inquiry. So an inquiry, for lack of a better explanation, is a mini audit. They'll come to us and they'll say, I want to see Johnny's files on 1234 Main Street. I want to see Valerie's files on 3456 X Street, whatever it is. And then what happens is we go to the resource that we have, which is SkySlope, right? And SkySlope has line items for basically everything that's in there. And we rely on our agents to make sure that things are being uploaded in a timely manner. We do have a lot of agents, especially with 8,000 agents, that will upload stuff 2 days before close of escrow. And our contract compliance team is scrambling to get those completed so that you guys can get paid. But what happens is it starts creating issues, right? Things get, slipping through the cracks. And so we're just asking our agents to be as diligent, whether you're using a TC or you're doing it yourself, to be as diligent as possible about getting that stuff done. One of the things that we just implemented as a result of this inquiry is that we need all of our agents now, as a requirement, to start uploading all communication into SkySlope. So SkySlope has a really cool tool where you can CC the email address on there, but almost nobody uses it, right? And so we have a line item now for all communication, including logging all telephone calls and text messages. And we can tell you that, Valerie, trust me, as a broker team, as a broker team, we don't like it either. So I'll just put that out there. We don't like it either. We're working really hard. In fact, this has been keeping us really, really super busy over the last week or so since this was dropped in our laps. We're trying to find a better solution for this. But basically a special investigator from the DRE told us, you have to do this right now. It's actually always been a requirement. You guys may not realize that. You know, there's a lot of agents that have been in the business since electronic communication has been in place, but prior to a lot of email and a lot of stuff, you know, contracts when they were done on paper, you actually used to have a phone log, right? There used to be a phone log that you would have to turn in with your paperwork to the broker, stuff like that. And we've gotten away from that just because our life is so electronic these days and we forget about that stuff, right? And you're handling 25 clients at a time and you just don't think about that stuff. But the actually never went away. And so what's happened is we are now out of compliance and we have this target on our back with the DRE saying, well, you have so many agents. How are you as a broker team managing each one of them to be in compliance and protecting their license, right? And so we're scrambling to try to find a very efficient way for you guys to do this. But in the meantime, we've been required to add a line item in there. So if you guys see that on your transactions, it's not us trying to make things more difficult. It's us trying to protect your license in that way. So bear with us as we move through that. I'm going to be doing a workshop. I have my regular workshop today, and then I'm doing California State training on Tuesday, where I'm going to be going through some best practices around getting some of this communication uploaded into SkySlope. I'm doing some research on great ways. So if you guys happen to know something, please let me know if there's a great tool or great tech resource out there that allows us to capture things in a better way. But yeah, I mean, and there's gray areas in it that we're still working through with our legal side. So as an example, text messages. The DRE doesn't clearly define text messages as communication unless they are pertinent to a specific transaction. So they define emails as specific language and specific communication because we'll email an offer, we'll email things back and forth. So it's very clear that that's what that is. But a lot of the times, as you guys know, as agents, we'll kind of negotiate through text messages as well, right? We'll say, hey, how does, what is your seller looking for? What is your, has your buyer been pre-qualified? Whatever it is. And that actually then becomes part of official communication. So a good workaround for that is if you're doing any kind of communication through text messages is to always just follow it up with an email. Hey, per our text conversation, we discussed this, this, and this, and then just CC SkySlope address or forward it once you go into contract. That's kind of an easy workaround as opposed to trying to forward a string of text messages. But there are programs out there, from what I understand, that will help with that. I just don't know what they are quite yet. I've got to do that research this weekend. So.
When does this go live? When's these new requirements?
Immediately. So yeah, so if you guys open a new SkySlope file now, the line item is already there. So yeah, so and then possible, just a sec, Drew, and possible other things too that you guys might have seen is like single check compliance. So the DRE has been getting really hard on us. If your license as it appears on the DRE website does not match exactly as it does within our own internal. So you could go by John Jennings III, right? And if it doesn't say that John Jennings III with EXP, then they're saying you can't be paid directly. Everything has to come directly through the brokerage until you fix that. And then, so it's single check as opposed, because California is a split check state, right? Escrow can issue to you and to EXP separately. But the DRE is saying if your name doesn't match up, then you go to single check until that's corrected. So I don't know if anyone in here has seen one of those emails, right? Have you?
Well, my real name is Cynthia. No one calls me Cynthia.
So it's your surname. So the DRE does allow, they don't write like that. The DRE does allow first names, nicknames, anything like that. You can go by JoJo, you can go by C, you can go by anything you want. First names are okay, it's your surname. And so what we run into is like hyphenated last names. If he didn't use the 3, like he's John Jennings III, right? Things like that. And they're little nuances. So when you were onboarded, this wasn't brought to our attention and we didn't know, and the onboarding specialist was just like, hey, yeah, you want to go by this. If you don't use the 3rd, that's fine. But now that we have a special investigator in, they're saying that's not okay. Real quick, Drew was waiting.
So 2 things. First one being, is there a class, you just talked about a class that we can send our TCs to when it comes to the emails and everything, because Ryan's known me for a long time. Probably loved me as an agent without.
Drew and I started in the business together.
Years ago. Now as a broker, I'm probably a little bit of a payer. But is there a class that we can send our TCs to so that they can really?
That's a good question. Yeah. So Tuesday's class is going to be in the world, so they have access to the world at all. it'll be in the California Auditorium at 9 a.m. I am having our administrative support staff record it, and it will be up on Workplace. So if you guys use Workplace, you can always download it and they can watch it from there. Otherwise, they'll need access to
I
the.
think there's a TC, like my TC knew about it before I said anything because and she doesn't work for Sky Slope, she works, it's Debbie Talks, right? I think there must be a group somewhere that the TCs that work with EXP agents, because she knew about all of that. And then there's some other 48-hour thing she was talking about too, but.
Yeah, the 48-hour rule. So the DRE requires any brokerage, not just EXP, for their agents to submit documentation within 48
But
hours.
does that count on weekends and holidays?
It counts on anything.
Oh, something.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is how practical is it to really enforce that, right? So normally it's not in the spotlight. It just so happens that we're in the spotlight right now.
Yeah.
We just happen, we grew too big, right? So it's the growing pains. And so we're
Yeah.
just trying to find ways to make it more efficient. You know, is 48 hours, I mean, come on, like, right, we have a holiday weekend coming up. You go into, into contract on Saturday. We're not even seeing it, right? Our team isn't there
Some of
until
us
back
don't
until
work the
Tuesday,
weekends.
right? Some of you don't work weekends, right? So I hear you, but on a technical level, right? On a technical level, the DRE says it's 48 hours. It's not business days. Yeah.
That's no fair.
Yeah.
And then last, real quick,
Oh, yeah.
so sorry.
She had one more
That
question.
second question, but I think it might help a lot of people in the room, is that when it comes to the check issue, does that include corporations?
That was my question.
Yeah, so if you're a corporation, so you can be paid through a corporation, that's fine, as long as you've gone through accounting and done that. It's more about, it's not about where you're receiving your check, whether it's to you personally or your S corp or whatever it may be. If your name doesn't match up exactly, we have to do single check issuance. So it'll come to us regardless of how we have to reissue it separately. It still has to come to us. So, yeah. Yes.
For the text messages, because mostly everything is done through text messages.
Right.
these days. Is it actually from the first point of contact with the listing or buyer's agent? Or is it when the transaction actually starts?
Good question. So it's, I mean, we spent 45 minutes on this morning in our meeting. It's really great. It's really, really great. Unfortunately, we're still trying to get some clarification. We reached back out to the special investigator to get a little bit more clarification around this. From what we understand right now, if it's just setting up a showing, right? Stuff like that, it doesn't matter, right? Because the buyer may not end up at that property. But if there's any type of negotiations involved, then it becomes part of the transaction. And we all informally negotiate, right? That's just part of what we do. Right? Our clients don't see it. It's not just on paperwork, right? There's a lot of informal negotiations that take place over the phone or text messages, things like that. And technically they're supposed to be logged. And what I can tell you, as much as a pain as this is, and I hear you, it's hard pill to swallow. We don't like it either. But what I can share is that recently having text messages has saved a client's license because they had an accusation against them. And we were able to go back to the text messages and show that the accusation was baseless. So it does help. I mean, I'm in mediations once a week for agents, almost, or if not more, arbitrations, things like that. I mean, with 8,000 agents, you can imagine that we're constantly working on the legal side. So anything that you guys can give us to help support you, if something were to come up, the more the merrier. I mean, we just want to see the more the merrier, basically. Yeah.
I just want to say, your miller posted yesterday in Workplace a video on how to upload your text messages to Sky Slope. So
That's Margaret Crispill's onboarding specialist, for those that don't know, but it'll be a work, they won't know who can.
But it's on
That's fine.
Workplace.
But it is on Workplace,
Yeah.
but it'll show you,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's great. And I'll go and I'll look at that because I'm doing that class on Tuesday. I mean, I know that you can go into your text messages and forward them to emails and things like that. But it comes as just like plain text, right? And so it doesn't say it's from Brent to Ryan. It doesn't tell you the two are from. And so I'm trying to find a better way. Brent, were you asking a question? Or no? Yes. Okay. Now he's eating.
Something that I just saw something emotional. It made me just bawl. For those who don't know, Chris Okamura was fighting for his life last night in ICU at the hospital. I prayed for him
Yeah.
all night long. He was not responding to drugs. He's doing better.
Yeah.
Oh, that he just sent that picture. So he turned the corner and really grateful.
That's rough.
Brent Gove, I love you.
Yeah, me too.
Jeez.
Like,
Thank you for sharing that, Brent. Yeah.
Sorry,
So-
I just got this.
Hospital, somebody's great deal.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Carry on. I was just really pumped.
Yeah, thank you. for
I've
sharing
been
that, Brent.
heavy hearted. Love Chris. He's a rock star. So, all right, keep going. Sorry.
No, no worries.
Mm.
Any other questions on that or anything else that I can answer from a broker point of view? Yeah.
Just on this, like, I always just take a screenshot with the time, the names, and send it to the file anyway, and that's how
That's
we train our agents to do that.
Yeah.
If it's, so is that, and then my TC uploads it to SkySlope, so, but is that
That's
okay, just to?
absolutely great and
Because to
perfectly
me, that's the
acceptable.
easiest.
It's unfortunately few and far between, so most
Oh,
agents don't
okay.
do stuff like that. I mean, we probably have, it's probably about a 10% of our agents actually utilize.
So that works.
Wow.
Yes, it does, absolutely.
I forget the SkySlope email often, but I CC my TC on everything.
Exactly.
I don't care if I'm saying, do you want some eggs today? She CC'd on it. And she uploads everything. Anyway,
Yeah.
she always has the emails, always has the files, and I'm like a text message, like, yeah. But my other question is on the phone logs then. So are you saying that like at the end of a transaction, we need to go back into our cell phone logs and like search the specific numbers that were involved in that and then upload those so they know when we make calls?
Technically, yes. So
I
in.
hate that word technically. Like,
Well,
do I have to or
because-
do I not have to?
Yeah,
Like,
so-
how much can I get away with
Because
here to be
So
okay?
listen, because I'm part of the broker team and I have to give you what the DRE wants, right? And so that's what the DRE wants. And so in SkySlope, there's a log tab. And so you can just literally log it there and you can say there was a call from at,
But at the
Tuesday.
end of the transaction, couldn't we, like that to me
It
seems
can
like
be at
it
the
would
end of
take
the
a couple minutes to
Yeah.
just, or have my TC or my assistant do it, right? Where they just go, okay, here's the
Yeah.
numbers, here's this, and upload that.
Yeah,
Is that?
I mean, you can do it as you go, you can do it at the end, as long as the file is complete
As
by
I
the
go
end.
sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I have 6 kids and I'm on the phone all the time. Like, you're doing it, maybe like,
And
excuse
you're
me.
dodging the
you just
kids,
want-
right, in a closet, I hear you.
Get back to working weekends, keeping this.
Yeah.
keeping
well,
it
Yeah,
compliant,
working on the
yeah.
weekends just to
So, on the phone log updates there, do you have to have what was in your conversation? with
So,
that?
no,
Okay.
I mean, it's best practice, but practically speaking, that's almost impossible, right?
It goes along with what he said though. Remember what he said about even the text message, same thing with a phone call. I do the same thing. If I have a phone call where I'm trying to negotiate repairs, I'll follow it up with an email and just say, hey, per our conversation.
Perfect.
If it's something important that you're saying over the phone, then follow it up with an email, not
Yeah.
just. Hey,
And
just
again,
per our conversation.
yeah, I mean, I attend mediations and arbitrations at least once a week on behalf of our agents, and anything that's in writing, anything that's in black and white, that is like, you know, a bullet in a gun. It's so easy to defend when we have something tangible. If it's a phone conversation that hasn't been documented, it's just her word against his word. And we get into those all the time as well. And you know what? Agents lose. They lose whatever it is. They lose commission. They get suspended licenses, whatever it may be, because they have no way to protect themselves. And so I know this is a pain. I hear you. We all hear. Everyone on the broker team hears it. We don't like it either, but it really is designed to protect our agents. Yeah. Yeah.
We retro that, like start doing it previous transactions.
Yeah, I mean, so the line item is gonna be in there for any transactions moving forward. So when we add line items into SkySlope, it doesn't go back. But you should be using SkySlope. So I would encourage you to go into any active transaction or listing and, you know, use the log and the SkySlope email address. Yeah, I mean, if you have an email chain, right? And it's got 4 or 5 or 6 different emails on there, just go to the
You can
end
just
one and
forward it,
forward
right?
it. Yeah, and then it accomplishes that.
I sometimes remember that address thing on some of the files.
And it's easy to forget. It is. I mean,
I'm lucky if I can remember who the other person's TC is. Most of the time I have to send an email to my TC saying, can you send this to the side? Because I don't even remember who's on the other side.
Yeah. Any other
'Cause I'm
questions
too
for
busy drinking
Ryan?
margaritas on the weekend.
Any other questions for Ryan?
Ryan, I have a agent that is sick and not doing real estate right now. Is there a way to suspend their fees and stuff with the company for a little while?
yeah, they or somebody just needs to reach out to agent services and which is, I believe off the top of my head, believe it's just agentservices@exprealty.net.
Mhm.
Make sure if you're sending anything to a staff member, it's a .net instead of a .com. We have .com emails, but I'm never in mine, ever. I'm only in my .net. So if you send anything to a staff member, make sure it's .net, please. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Slide into the dot.
You're welcome. Any
Yeah,
other
man.
questions?
What's the time of that meeting on Tuesday?
9 a.m.
Oh. Can we ask Brent a question?
Absolutely.
Oh, and he's raising his hand too, looks like.
What's up, Brent?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm super impressed, Ryan. That was awesome, dude. I really feel fortunate you came today. What'd you guys think? Was this really good? This was super beneficial, I thought. Awesome.
Yeah.
Johnny's been asking me for
I know.
months now. Yeah, months now, and I finally
You
have the
guys almost
opportunity.
look like you could be related.
Maybe we are, I don't
That's kinda
know.
Do a DNA test.
No, John and Valerie are some very, very, very dear friends of mine.
Yeah.
Very dear friends. And so, I mean, we spend time together outside of work. So, yeah.
I just want to hold their baby
Yeah.
because I'm not making any more.
Yeah.
Okay, question for Brent would be today at lunch. Hey Brent, is that the meeting that you said was gonna
Everybody give Brent
happen?
a round of applause.
The meeting that you said last week was gonna happen with the commercial gal that you said was phenomenal. Is that still happening today? And was it 1:30 our time?
Yeah, 1:30 Pacific. If you know a commercial agent, say, stay at your company, but you have to see what's happening. It's mind blowing. 1:30 p.m. Zoom with Brent.live. Zoom with Brent.live is the location, 1:30 p.m. And she's going to explain everything in 25 minutes. And she is a gifted communicator and intelligent and articulate and well-spoken. And they put a package together, not just her ability to communicate it, but they put a package together that is huge. I called 3 commercial agents I knew and said, you just absolutely have to be there. I don't care if you ever leave your company, but you have to be there. And everyone was like, I'm there. And so they'll all sign up for EXP. It is so impressive. 1:30.
Is it recorded too?
Mute your mics. Please mute your mics. Please mute your mics. Do not watch the mics. Yes, what now?
Is it gonna be recorded too, Brent?
Yes, I will record it. And
I'm a
Rob,
little bit,
can you,
I had a blonde
Rob-
moment. I thought it was for us to learn. I didn't
Rob,
really.
Rob Litzinger,
I'll grab it, but only you can record it. So I will.
I will record it. I will record it, but I'd like to make you a and I'd love to make you a co-host or something so you can make sure people are muted. Is that possible during the thing?
Yes.
Yes?
Yay!
Awesome.
Okay, so quick question. Because she's going to be a co-host, she's the speaker. I am. It allows more than 2. I can do 3 there, Rob.
No, only 2 co-hosts. But
So I can give it to you. I could possibly just give it to you and her. But if I need,
Can we get on at 1:20 or something like that? We'll just figure everything out. Right before it
Yes.
happens?
yes.
Brent, and then Brent, what is the lady's name that's doing
Yeah, what
this?
is the lady's name?
Stephanie G.
Spell that last name.
That's why I call her G. Let me look.
G or
I'm
I
looking.
know it's a rough day today. Okay.
Stephanie.
It's okay, Brent. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Just Stephanie. I'll introduce you. I'll have it.
It's like Kenny G. It's good.
Kenny G.
It's like Kenny G. It all works.
All right. Hey, real quick.
I got it. Guilezan. Stephanie Guilezan.
Spell it phonetically.
There you go.
Yeah. So we're getting a lot of questions. It's fire season. In case anybody's been living under a rock, fire insurance is hard to come by, and it's becoming increasingly hard. Hinkle, the best guy we know,
Hinkle, yeah.
Darcy, Cindy suggested us to him. I only have one of his cards left. So if you're interested in getting his information, text any of us or take a picture of this. It'll be on the table. Okay. So
He's phenomenal.
He's very good.
He saves deals.
yeah, he saves deals. So can you pass this down to Haley in white blouse? All right, there's that on the table. There's also, if you need, we've been getting requests for stagers. Stagers that Valor and I enjoy working with is Show Homes Folsom. Bob is legit. If you need a stager, grab a flyer. You need a home inspector, contact Jen. Right? We all know Jen. And then Rodney, you had a.
Yeah, just when you brought up the fire. There's,
Hey, everybody, real quick, we're almost done. Everybody, we're almost done. Just hang tight, hang tight.
There are some special programs. I mean, literally the fire is devastated. So, and it's close, right? Maybe you have family, friends, relatives, coworkers, whatever. There is special programs for people that have been devastated in the fire to get a new home. There's like no money down, right?
Can you share info on the team page somehow about that?
Yeah.
I remember that from the Paradise Fire, but I don't know
Right.
what they are.
Yeah. So just so you know, I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're looking at like trying to qualify for a new loan and still having the old debt, having no
Sure.
cash, wondering, they got so many things they've lost, they're worried. That's the least you can help them out with, some peace of mind if they could get into a new home.
Awesome. And then that's all I had for today. When you leave, please make sure you put your chair back. If you're sitting in a chair that's not here, figure out where it goes. That really helps the cleanup process so the ladies up front don't have to deal with it. If there's a meeting or a topic that you want discussed at the next meeting or future meetings, please reach out to me. I want these meetings to have value for you and be something that you want to bring your friends and other agents to and that you want to attend. So please, the only way I can do that is if I know what you're looking for. So please reach out to me directly. And with that, have a great rest
Hold
of your
on, real
week.
quick, I actually have something else too. So
Okay.
speaking of meetings, we as a brokerage are planning in real life events here in California. We're probably gonna do one in the Bay and one here in Sacramento. I think we have Kenny Trump's team has a set up in the Bay, I think, but if you guys have any locations or any ideas of areas and sponsors, I would love to hear from you guys.
Masters Club is doing a big event. There's Masters Club's doing an event at, what is that called?
The
There's
Grounds.
The grounds
It runs in Roseville.
in Roseville. I mean, I don't know what's in Sacramento because I don't.
Oh, yeah, the old beer grounds.
Yeah, they hold
Okay.
600 people.
Yeah,
max.
okay.
750 max, but there are only 200 going.
950.
950.
Yeah, and so we
I
have.
just
we're
read an
trying
email
to-
today.
We're trying to do something in October because November has EXPCon and Thanksgiving. December gets crazy with holiday parties and stuff. So we're trying to do something for October.
And I'm just throwing this out there. I mean, I know from there, but you should be aware. So you might want to choose something more Placer County oriented if you're not wanting to be. Do you have a vax card? Do you have a mask? Do you have anything?
Yeah.
If you go to Sacramento County,
Yeah.
The ground
That's
judge.
why in Oakland, we're doing the area in Oakland because one of our agents owns a 3,000 square foot warehouse.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so.
There we go. All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for coming back. Great week. Thanks, Brent.
About like, man never.